We are finally approaching the moment that will make or break Cardano for good, the Alonzo hard fork. Now that's a little bit dramatic, that's a little over dramatic, but after ages and ages of waiting and issue after issue arising, Hoskinson says that we're finally here, and if the plan all falls into place, estimates are showing we could see ADA jump as much as 90% as smart contracts are implemented on the ADA network. The first proof of stake smart contracts beating out Ethereum to this brand new technology.
Yeah.
Now, Ethereum has smart contracts, but they don't have proof of stake smart contracts. This is likely to come at some point in 2022. So if all comes together for Cardano here, they would have beat Ethereum to this massive technology, and it's very likely that we see a bump up in Cardano because of this, and because there are many bears saying that it simply will not happen for Cardano. So let's cover everything you need to know regarding this fascinating and somewhat complex issue. So let's break this down. So if you don't already know what a fork is, it's something that you eat with. If you don't know what a hard fork is, it's basically a major update to a blockchain network. All the nodes on a network, on a blockchain network, would update to a new version simultaneously, and the network would restart, reboot, and have this new version. It's like an update to the code. It's like when your iPhone updates overnight. It's that, but with nodes on a smart contract network. It's called a hard fork because technically the nodes could continue to run the old version of the code if they wanted to, and this is actually how Ethereum and Ethereum Classic are split up because of a hard fork. Now there's two separate networks. It's kind of like if you had a high school class and the classroom couldn't, for whatever reason, decide what subject to cover next, what subject the teacher should teach. So they just split the classroom in half. One side did history and the other side did English, or something like that. But what makes this extra special is that it's a hard fork combinator. This is when the hard fork is done in order to shift onto a protocol that can support the addition of new features, in this case, smart contracts. In a second, I'll get into what exactly that looks like on Cardano and with ADA, if you're bullish on ADA, or if you're just curious about ADA. So Charles Hoskinson, the CEO and creator of Cardano, recently did a live stream and spoke about the updates regarding Cardano. If you don't recognize that name, he's also a co-founder of Ethereum. However, he hates talking about how he co-founded Ethereum and thinks people should focus much more on his work with ADA.
Ethereum is a closed chapter in my life, and I have no desire to talk about Ethereum or the people therein. However, Vitalik was kind enough to...
But either way, the man has a ton of credibility within the crypto ecosystem, and he's an all-star in all senses of the word. In cryptocurrencies, he's an all-star. He announced that as of now, they plan on announcing the official date next week for this hard fork combinator event. So next week, they're saying we will have a date that this thing actually launches.
I believe it's probably going to be announced around August 12th, 13th is when we're going to do the mid-month update.
So Cardano has a planned roadmap of 5 major stages, and some of these stages are even broken down into sub-stages. First off was Byron, which was building the foundation for the Cardano network. Then there was Shelley for creating decentralization within the network. Then there was Goguen for implementing smart contracts, and that's the phase that we're in right now. We're in the last phases of that phase. And then we have Basho, which is number 4, for scaling the network. Sorry, I just punched my desk in excitement. And then number 5, we have Voltaire for governance of the network. So Cardano, like I said, is currently in the midst of bringing phase 3 of the roadmap to life, Goguen, the smart contract phase. And in my opinion, this is the most important phase because smart contracts will change everything. It'll change banking. It'll change insurance. It'll make everything cheaper and cheaper. I have a video that breaks down why this is so fascinating that you should watch after you watch this video. I'll have it pinned above. Also, if you're just interested in learning more about cryptocurrencies, about stocks, about what I'm up to, you'll want to join my Patreon for as little as $10 a month. You'll get things like private content. You'll get buy alerts. You'll get access to our Discord community. Tons of stuff going on there. And I actually have some huge plans in the works that I'm very excited about with that community, and you don't want to miss out on being one of the first to join because prices will go up after these changes are made. But either way, with ADA, there have actually been previous hard fork combinator events implementing other features on the network leading up to this, and this specific HFC event, which is nicknamed the Alonzo hard fork, is what will be implementing the Plutus platform, which is smart contracts. The Plutus platform is a platform built to support smart contracts. It actually includes their own programming language for smart contracts that will theoretically have more potential than Ethereum's network due to Cardano being built from the ground up, thinking about scalability and making sure everything is perfect before they build. They are very, very concerned about building things right the first time. Well, Ethereum might need to kind of duct tape their way to a scaling solution. Ethereum style is more of a work fast and break things, where Cardano is more of a measure twice, cut once kind of ecosystem. Both can be successful.
The culture of moving fast at Facebook, is this a good thing or does it just get you into trouble?
Yeah, I mean, it gets us into tons of trouble. Move fast is good because it's something that people can actually disagree with. And I mean, there are companies that have very different approaches than that. I mean, I think Apple would never launch something that didn't meet their perfection bar, and it served them incredibly well, right? So I think, move fast is a very nice kind of, you can meaningfully disagree with it, and I think it leads to interesting outcomes.
Only time will tell who actually takes the cake here in the long run. Ethereum, of course, has a head start, but if you look at the market cap of each of these and you think, okay, if ADA were to win, there's a larger upside for ADA, which is extremely exciting for me. And anyways, to implement smart contracts is a big task. And Hoskinson stated in his recent update that they actually plan on hard forking their testnet first to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So they have a testnet of code, which is basically like beta code that's not actually being ran publicly. They can run trials and tests on that and make sure everything goes smoothly first before moving on to their main net, which is actually used by everyone. So it's important to point out that when they are running the tests on their testnet, they could run into some issues that may affect the timeline or some planning with the main hard fork and getting smart contracts on the main net.
We get a lot of data next week from the exchange partners, but so far everything on our internal testing looks pretty good. If all signs point to clear, then we should be able to get that HFC event for Alonzo done in short order. If some things are discovered, then they'll be quantified next week, and we'll put it into our launch plan.
So the upcoming events come in this order. First, the testnet hard fork next week. This is when they can do some testing and planning to see if they can do the hard fork on the mainnet. And then the announcement of the mainnet hard fork for Alonzo, so on the actual main ecosystem when they do this hard fork, when they upgrade the code. Then third is node preparation for that hard fork. Fourth, the actual hard fork happens. And fifth, Plutus is implemented on the Cardano mainnet, and we have smart contracts and dApps and all sorts of exciting things live on the Cardano network.
Yeah.
Now, time will only tell if this goes smoothly, but history says it won't go perfectly, as Cardano has had a history of putting off this Alonzo fork and running into more and more issues over time, which is why Cardano is facing a lot of criticism from the bears. Based on current polymarket trading of Cardano, the odds are 59-41 against Cardano. There are more bears than bulls with this smart contract launch. However, this is actually an improvement over previous polling, because CoinDesk calculated that the odds in the middle of July were 63-37 based on polymarket trading. So things are getting better. People are getting a little bit more confident, but the odds are still showing maybe this doesn't happen. Now, Charles Hoskinson is surprised by this level of criticism that they're receiving, especially because he's very open and transparent about what's going on. Every single week he does a live stream updating what's going on with this upgrade. And his defensiveness here might actually be a good sign, because he's responding with just as much confidence as the critics are throwing at him to begin with. He actually just tweeted this the other day. It's extraordinary to me, the level of skepticism about our upcoming smart contract launch. It's not something like smart contracts will be underwhelming, but rather they simply won't happen. The critics say it with biblical level certainty, we should start a fund to pay for their therapy. So that's one way to put it. This obviously begs the question, why are people convinced that this won't happen at all? I found that a lot of the criticisms here stem from how ridiculously long it's taken to get to this point. Charles Hoskinson himself tweeted over a year ago, a year from now, Cardano will be running thousands of dApps. Well, a year from that tweet was actually 2 weeks ago, and we still don't have smart contracts, better yet, thousands of dApps running on the ecosystem. Although these criticisms could actually be a very good thing for the bull who has faith in this hard fork event. If it goes smoothly and we get smart contracts out of it, there will definitely be massive price action, with most sources predicting Cardano breaking $3 in the event of successful smart contracts. So if you're bullish in ADA, it may be a time to check out some ADA. Not financial advice whatsoever. Do your own due diligence. Always do your own due diligence. Now, beyond the price of an actual ADA coin, there's a lot of future events that are riding on the success of this hard fork and the success of Cardano's smart contracts as a whole. Now, Ethereum is in a bit of a scaling pickle right now. Even though they've recently shown that they can handle large system upgrades with their recent reduction software, the recent fee reduction software that went swimmingly, and this kind of shows that they're going to be able to transition to proof of stake at some point in 2022 without too many issues. It shows that they're able to do these large upgrades. And while some are critical of the success of Cardano's smart contracts, we can all agree that we want them to be successful. We want a world with a well-built, reliable, cheap dApp platform. We want smart contracts to happen. And who makes it happen, frankly, doesn't matter a whole lot, because society will just benefit as a whole from them happening. However, it's just exciting that this may happen with ADA sooner than expected. Now, IOHK, the research organization that's building the Cardano blockchain, is definitely relying on the success within their network. They plan on servicing more than 5 million Ethiopian students using Cardano's features. And it doesn't stop there. The IOHK has plans of doing a lot more servicing for third world country education systems beyond that. But these plans are all dependent on Cardano's success. And we will see what will happen next week with the very exciting updates to this network. So that's going to do it for today. Check out the various offers linked down in the description. We have offers for trading platforms like KuCoin, where you can trade over 200 different cryptocurrencies for a very low fee. It's way cheaper than Coinbase. I actually do all of my crypto transactions on there because it's so cheap, and you can also do other cool stuff like staking and lending, cool things that aren't available on all platforms. There's various offers down there for free stocks. You can join my newsletter. You can join my Patreon, which you definitely want to do that before I do some major upgrades there. I know that's a lot to cover, but I would just like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.